Yo, what's good? We got a solo build coming out finally, and it is expandable from a 2x1 starter base, which turns into a bunker as well. So you can do your standard 2x1 except for this triangle foundation and half wall right here, which we will need for the bunker later on. And then there will be no airlock, so make sure you're building in a secure area. The TC will need to be placed out just a little bit, specifically like this, so that when you upgrade it to armored, you will be able to do so because armored has a flap on it, as you can see right here. And if you place it too close to the armored foundation, you will not be able to upgrade it. So over here you can come put some twig. I have B grade enabled, so make sure you put twig out there, not stone. And then we'll be able to place this triangle in here for some more box space. Make sure you destroy your twig after you get the inside triangle down, and you'll be able to fit some more boxes in here. But keep in mind, when placing your door, you will have to have no boxes within the door frame, otherwise you will not be able to place them. This is a new feature added within a recent patch, which kind of sucks. So we can kind of place some boxes in here precariously, but not as much as we would have been able to previously, and our TC needs to go that way instead of the opposite angle, so that we can place the triangle and have the armored foundation upgraded. But it's not too big of a deal. We can just build some more loot space later on. Your workbench will go over here along with your research table and or furnaces. I would recommend just researching things near outpost as a solo until we build more space for our research table later on. If you placed everything in here accordingly, you should be able to fit a barbecue in here as well. Otherwise, don't worry, you can put a fireplace down over on this triangle behind here. And you can also fit a couple more boxes in, depending on how much space you need. It's not too important to get these smaller boxes in here because, like I said, we will be building another loot room outside after we get our bunker down. Now outside we're going to add 3 triangles, one of them being raised, and then we'll block it off with a wall and a ceiling tile. And this is where our bunker aspect will be located. Next, if you would like, you can add these squares over here. Your furnaces will be on this side, and then this will be our loot room over here. I would recommend keeping this raised. If you do lower it like the other side, you can add some additional honeycombing to that bunker triangle, but it is not necessary. We can just upgrade it to sheet metal or high quality later on. If you would like to add honeycomb, I would only add these triangles like this, as we will need to upgrade them to sheet metal later on, and we will be covering them with these other tiles that we will keep stone. You could put it like this, but to increase the amount of walls coming from both sides, we'll put the square on the inside like that. And then you can just fill in the rest of it later, and we'll have our basic footprint. So I'm just doing this right now so you guys can see what the footprint looks like, so you know where to build at. If you would like to have a door here protecting you and not just have one door underneath your bunker, I would recommend building it like this with 2 half walls right here, and then covering up this with walls. Now, depending on which side you would prefer to jump up at and enter your second story, you can decide whether or not you would like to go through here or the right side. I would recommend going through the left side because we can add some extra honeycomb beneath here if we need to protect the bunker. So this is where our second floor will be located, and we will have some additional honeycombing on the roof as well to increase the raid cost if people decide to go through the roof. And we will add traps on the inside as well to make door raiding a little more expensive. Here's where you'll place your garage door, and then a half wall above it. And then I'll show you where I would recommend you place other doors at for later on in the build. You could add another door right here to not get camped when you open this door from behind. If you're using a garage door, if you're using a double door, you can still get camped from behind. So it is up to you. I would recommend upgrading all of this to high quality instead of sheet metal, as it'll only be like 200 high qual, which you can get from recycling components. You will have to destroy a couple boxes, pick them up to upgrade this foundation right here, as the boxes will not allow you to sometimes. So it does suck that you have to pick up a few boxes and place them back down. And this one cannot be placed like that. Unfortunately, you will have to hop up from the side over here, meaning if you don't get the right angle on it, you might have to pick up your barbecue as well. If you would like to save 50 high qual and you are able to build low enough to the ground, you don't have to upgrade your foundations. You could just upgrade them to sheet metal if you would like. Otherwise, I would recommend upgrading your bunker to high quality and this wall as well. In the recording, I forgot to upgrade the ceiling tile in this triangle that I'm standing in, so make sure you upgrade the ceiling tile above you to armored as well. And then the reason we're doing this is because we're going to have a layer of honeycomb on the outside that's sheet metal, and then a layer that is stone to hide the sheet metal, and the sheet metal hides the high quality, making it sneaky, covering it up so that if you do get raided, they will probably not bring enough materials to raid you without having the knowledge prior that it is a bunker with high qual on the inside. So these are the foundations I recommend upgrading to sheet metal, and then leaving the other ones stone so that we can hide the sheet metal later on. This is kind of pick and choose what you would like to add. After this, we'll be adding a furnace room, a second story, and our airlock area. Right now, our airlock is just this garage door, so I would recommend going with no airlock and going for the furnace and second story if you have shotgun traps to place in the triangle left to the garage door that is the most exterior. That way, if you do die, you'll have a shotgun protecting you, which will be kind of vicious to try to loot your body. It'll protect you very well. Otherwise, I would build the airlock before the furnace room, and then build the second story thing to get to the furnace room later on. Just depends on the circumstances. You will need a couple of doors. You'll need this garage door right here, so you'll be able to access your furnace room. So if you don't have a garage door, this might be something that you'll have to do later on, or you can just build your airlock out so that you can come up there without having a door there, because our furnace room is going to be a drop down over here with the only way to access it is through the second story. I'd recommend upgrading any walls straight to sheet metal if you can. Like I said earlier, switch your research table out in the 2x1 for furnaces and start smelting this as soon as you can. Or you can just recycle components at the outpost for metal frags. It's cheaper to upgrade straight into sheet metal rather than going from stone to sheet metal. So that's what I would recommend you do once building your second story and furnace room, is try to build it straight into sheet metal if you can. But if you need the furnace room to get your metal frags, then go ahead and build it in stone. It's not too big of a deal. If you do this, you can have another little room for storage. Otherwise, you could honeycomb this top portion off and just delete the door altogether, because this could be a weak point later on, but not necessarily, because they'll still have to go through the same amount of walls. But we were trying to make the ceiling more expensive to go through, because a lot of people nowadays go through the ceiling when raiding because they think it's the cheapest. You can also fit a couple more boxes down here. If you place them incorrectly, you're not going to be able to jump up. So make sure you shove them as far back as you can, and then you should be able to jump in and out of there. This is optional. You could place something else there, like your repair bench. It's up to you what you would place there, but if you do place your boxes wrong, it'll be quite difficult to jump out of there. But it is possible to shove this box all the way back and still fit a second one there if you would like. You have some more areas where you can add a few more doors to secure the second floor. And if you do add these doors, I would recommend you upgrade everything else to sheet metal, just because it will allow raiders to have some weak points that they could go through. and get to your 2x1 faster. You've also got some more area up here, area space to put down extra deployables, whatever you need to put up here, more boxes, lockers, your research table. Again, it's optional what you place up there. It's just some extra room for you to run around in. If you're going to build your airlock, I recommend doing it like this. You could change out these shop fronts for windows if you have any of these blueprints for the windows, and then you would need to wall this off. If you're going to use it for an extra loot room, then just turn it into that. It allows for some extra storage space. As a solo, you shouldn't really need more loot than the boxes shown. You have about 5 to 6 boxes worth of space in your TC room, plus about 6 to 7 boxes of space in this loot room. You can do whatever loot room design you want. I just prefer the one that I'm showing right now because of how easily accessible all of the boxes are. You'll also have some extra space in these viewing squares, and you can place your repair bench over here, which I would recommend, so it's out of the way, easily accessible. You can repair an item before you leave and just keep some resources in the small boxes underneath it to repair your items like wood, metal frags, and high quality, along with whatever things you might need to repair your weapons and armor. And then you can also place some shotgun traps to protect you from getting door camped or from anyone going deep on your base. If you put the repair bench on the other square, you can add a even nastier shotgun trap on the bottom. And then you might need some stairs outside as well, depending on how high your foundation is, so just keep that in mind as well. You might need to build that off the bat. Just all depends on where you build that. And then we'll keep these stone. And the interior honeycomb will be sheet metal. I would recommend trying to get this straight to sheet metal so that you're not wasting any stone on this. And use the stone for the exterior honeycomb on the sides. And then, like I said, the exterior stone honeycomb is just hiding the sheet metal on the inside. People are probably going to know that it's sheet metal, just because we're going to have a bunch of exposed sheet metal. But it may deceive a couple people if they decide to go through the side. And if you're getting rocket rated, you'll have a bit of time to decide what your next plan is. The floor tiles on the top, I'd recommend trying to get to sheet metal right away though, because this will be covered up with a shooting floor as well. And the shooting floor walls can be sheet metal or stone. That is up to you, depending on whether or not you want to take heli, whether or not you're going to put reinforced glass windows up there or not. If you're going to put, if you're not going to put any reinforced glass windows on the corners, you might want to upgrade them to sheet metal so people can't pick their way into your shooting floor. But you'll see what I mean by that once we start building it. At this point, upgrade any stone that I'm upgrading right now to sheet metal, just for some added protection, especially these interior ones. If anybody does get inside your shooting floor, you're going to want these to be sheet metal. And then we'll add some honeycomb on the roof once we get our shooting floor done. So at this point, the base is pretty secure besides the area where our shooting floor is going to be. And don't forget to upgrade everything on the interior to sheet metal. Absolutely all of it should be sheet metal on the inside, or high quality, depending on what you have more of. If you have more high quality, the upkeep isn't going to be as bad, depending on how many components you're able to recycle. And then also don't forget to place any garage doors down wherever you can. But also keep in mind, when upgrading the interior to high qual, start from the core and go out, and make sure that you are able to keep upkeep on it. You don't want to go overboard with that. Right here you can honeycomb this off, which I would recommend if you don't have auto turrets, or if you don't think you're going to have auto turrets, because you could place an auto turret here and on the top. which would create for some nasty door protection, especially if somebody somehow does get past your shotgun trap. The auto turret will eliminate them along with this one, placing it behind the garage door that we will have up there, so that if they destroy the first one and they didn't destroy the second door on the second floor, when they do destroy the second floor, they'll have a similar auto turret interference, either trapping them inside the base or keeping them from coming inside the base without destroying it. If you're going to upgrade your shooting floor to sheet metal, which I would recommend if you're going to do heli, or if you're afraid of anybody spear raiding you for some reason. I've never really seen anybody spear raid a stone wall up here. Just depends on what materials you have to spend on your shooting floor. Just don't make it wood, at least make it stone. If you do make it wood, I would recommend upgrading the floor to armored. It just depends on what you would like to do up here. So I would prefer to have alternating window frames with reinforced glass. This just creates for nice peaks for when you're reloading. You can hide behind the glass, see where people are running to so that you can pre-fire on them without getting shot at by, like, say, their duo partner, or if it's a Zerg, you'll have some nice peaks to predict where they're going to be peeking you from. And then I would put horizontal embrasures on the reinforced glass windows so I can see everything that's going on, and then put vertical ones on so it's harder to shoot you. Put vertical embrasures on the regular window frames so you can get some longer distance shots or close range shots. You could alternate them on these squares if you would like, placing boxes down for additional storage, making sure that they're locked, and the ones that you keep your items in are the ones that are underneath the reinforced glass windows so that nobody can access or break the box without wasting ammo on it. It's up to you if you want to keep anything up here. You could use smaller boxes instead so you don't waste any metal frags, but this would also be a good place to have auto turrets outside your base. If you have walls, like high external walls on the outside of your base, this would be a good extra loot room storage for just spare gear, primitive gear. As a solo, you would really only need that if you're on a modded server and you have an overflow of gear and you have high walls around your base. Your shooting floor offers about 20 to 30 boxes worth of space. You can also add some half walls up there as well in the corners where you probably won't be fighting out of. Depending on the terrain, you'll be able to fit a ton of box space up there if you put half walls down. And if you're facing an area where that shooting window isn't really going to help you out much, then you could just put a half wall there and have an extra loot room instead. And then up here, this is how I would honeycomb it. Don't forget to put the triangle in front of the other triangles that's lowered. That is a weak spot. Right below here, you see we placed another triangle. And then this could be honeycombed off if you would like. You could also honeycomb the square on the roof outside opposite to this. This is just kind of a weak point, but it's not really a major one. So you don't have to honeycomb this. If you don't want to, you could just add a door there and have some extra storage space up here. Just something to keep in mind when you're pre-planning for which sections of this base that you're going to expand into while building it. That pretty much sums up the base design. If you're not familiar with bunkers, you would just place a wood half wall with the soft side facing in right here, and then place a triangle right here and upgrade it to armored. And then when you spawn in your bag inside the 2x1, you chop out the wood half wall with a hatchet. It's pretty easy to break it out, and then keep the spare resources to build your bunker, the wood and the armor, and the building plan and hammer underneath your repair bench outside, or that extra loot room that you have, so that you can build it, because you have to build it from the inside out, meaning you won't be offline inside your bunker, so keep all of your good stuff inside your bunker. Here's the upkeep cost once again, along with the build cost, so that you can take another look at it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Also, go check the description. You will find that I've got a server that I'm working on with a few friends. If you would like to go help test it out, you can join the Discord through the link in the description for Salty Island. We're still testing a bunch of plugins. It'll be a 2x server. We're trying to keep it mostly vanilla, and then I think the people that I'm working on it with are also going to create another server or two, which is probably going to be a Battlefield server and then maybe just a normal vanilla server. If you guys have any input on this, please leave it in the Discord for Salty Island, which is again located on the link in the description for saltyisland.net, I believe it is. And everybody that's working on the website is active in that Discord. You can ask us questions, leave feedback there. And pretty soon for this channel, I'm going to be starting a new game series, which I hope you guys will enjoy. It's a first-person survival game. So I think everybody will enjoy it, and I'll be giving you guys some more information on that soon. But yeah, go check out my links in the description. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Leave a like if you did, and leave some feedback in the comments below for something that you would like to see in the future related to Rust builds. And as always, I'll catch you guys next time.